Hi friends, it's Janine Richards from Q101. Welcome to The Tour Life. Grab your all-access pass and join me behind the scenes of the music industry. Together, we'll discover how to live happier and healthier lives doing what we love. Today's guest is an audio engineer who has toured with artists such as Brockhampton, Lil Mosey, and Kid Ink. In this episode, he tells us about his experience working on a WWE production, which was the foundation of how he sets up his workflow today. We also talk mental health, chasing dreams, and even tasting an orange for the very first time in Perth, Australia. You can find him on Instagram at JLifeMusic. Here is my conversation with the incredibly charming and insightful Jair Crews. Jair, welcome to The Tour Life.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
You're welcome. I'm like the podcast. I have to, because obviously you are very in the tour life.
Mm-hmm.
So where were you when the lockdown started happening? Because right now,
Wow.
we talked a second ago
Mm-hmm.
about how you've been stuck in Philly, basically.
Mm-hmm.
What were you doing? What was that?
I was home prepping for, we had Lollapalooza, South America. So we had like Brazil, Chile, Argentina. I forgot another. We had like this Lollapalooza of South America. We was going to go do that. And we had a Europe one following that. But most importantly, we had Coachella, like main stage Coachella, like want to say second, third before headliner. So we were like ready. We were going on it. We was going for blood. We were like, yo, let's prep for Coachella. This is going to change everything. They think they saw it before? Nah, we changed everything. So I was in the middle of prepping all of my technical gear for Coachella, honestly, so all of my RF, whether that was mics, ears, I know my engineers were wanting to change up a couple of ways that they did things. So I was like, cool, let's just start prepping. Let's get a newer rig. I was talking to my systems tech. Like we were already like knocking stuff out. And then
everything imploded.
You know it. Yep.
Oh man. So basically everything just got put on pause.
Yes.
Correct?
Yes.
Yeah. And then right now it's still maybe going to be in October.
We'll see. We'll see. I tell you right now.
I've also heard like 2021, so I don't know.
I tell you right now,
Wow.
We will see.
Yeah. Oh man. Well, since we can't really talk about what's currently happening
Mm-hmm.
as far as that goes, why don't you tell me a little bit about how you even got into the whole thing? Did you always know that you wanted to tour in the music business?
When I first got into the music industry, I wanted to be in the studio. I wanted to be producing. I wanted to be mixing in the studio. Like that was my first love. So graduated college 2014. Prior to graduation, I was doing an internship at Sigma Sound Studios in Philadelphia, one of the legendary spots. I was falling in love with it at first. I was falling in love with the studio, with the idea of creation that millions will hear what you do, what you work on. And then all of a sudden I was like, what is going on outside? And then you'll be in the studio, you'll be working, you look at your phone, you're like, oh, okay, cool. Then you walk past the front door and you're like, oh, okay, it's snowing and it's pitch black. Like when I walked in here, it was sunny and it was just a normal day. So it's like, how long have I been in here? Like you check your phone, but you don't check for time. You just check for notifications. So I started to notice I'm missing what's going on outside. And then I started to feel like I'm getting locked into a room, into four walls. And I felt like I was like stuck. So I'm basically now in a room. I feel like I'm trapped in. Time goes by. You don't know what's going on and it's repetitive. So I first loved it, but then after a while, I'm like, all right, cool. Like, what else? Like, what else is there? So a good friend of mine encouraged me. He's like, hey, at the church, how about you just go try live sound? I know that you've been doing the studio work, but would you try live sound? At my church, capacity was 3,000. They had a concert like a couple months after that moment, did the concert, sell out, 3,000 people, mix in front of house. At that moment, I knew I was not going back to the studio. The adrenaline rush, the feel that I had at my fingertips, seeing 3,000 people like in one building at one time was like, wow, this is beyond amazing. I don't know if I can sit in the studio this long, like ever again, but this live feel was incredible to me. So after that moment, my entire brain focus, it basically shifted to live sound. Now I still finished out my internship at the studio, but now we had a sound stage upstairs. My focus was, I want to do every event upstairs in that sound stage. So any live event, any like rehearsal, any TV, anything that was live, I want to be upstairs. Put somebody else downstairs, send me up. I'm content with it. I'm happy with it. So that birthed the live sound dream of mine, because it started off as music industry studio. And after time, time went by. I did that first show, never looked back ever since. And ever since then, it's been live sound. It's been live.
That's so crazy. So you were in the studio, you're creating, and that's a really long process. I mean, you really do lose a sense of time.
Yes.
You probably also get a vitamin D deficiency while you're in there.
Yes.
But like something that's really cool about, live shows, and this is what I miss so much about live music right now, is the fact that, everybody works towards something like during the day, right? And then you get to see it come to fruition.
Yes. You see a full circle completed. That is the difference. It's like when I'm doing live, I see it from completely scratch. When we wake up, we walk off the bus and walk into that thing, it is completely empty. And you see full circle. You see it go up. You see lights, sound, everything goes up. You do sound check. You do the show. You see the completion, the satisfaction of fans when they were watching, and then you see it tear down, and then the day is complete. And then you like, oh, let's roll to the next one. Let's go do it again.
Yep. You're like, mission accomplished.
Exactly.
Oh, yeah. So let's rewind back to 2016. I saw on your IG that you
2016
put together a WWE.
Oh, yeah.
Does that ring a bell?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
I've been watching the WWF from like the early 2000s, like late 1990s.
First. Yes. Yep.
Yeah. That's what we've been doing lately in quarantine. So tell me, rewind to that. Tell me a little bit about that.
My first time was the first time, I think, WWE, or was it Raw? I want to say the first time was WWE. They come to Philly, Wells Fargo Center. And at first, when I got the call, I was like, is this real? Or are they playing with me because they know that The Rock and like Batista was like idols growing up? Like, I looked up to these people. So I get the call to be a stagehand, and I was like, oh, this is going to be incredible. Walk in there. What you don't know is they rolling like 20 trucks deep, so you thinking, okay, it's going to be a fun day. Then you get in there and you're like, cool, that's 5 of 20 trucks. Don't worry. We're going to keep backing them in here as long as we can. So to see that process go from completely nothing to TV ready was incredible. It's like I learned so much about production, because not only are you doing WWE SmackDown, but at the same time, behind the scenes, they're filming 2 other WWE like network shows. So it's like they got the divas, like they're filming as we're loading in. So you're pushing like a line array or speakers in, and all of a sudden you start hearing like chaos, and they're like, yo, just keep walking. Don't even worry about them. And I'm like,
and you get so sucked into the drama too. Yeah. That's what I even like about wrestling.
Exactly.
So the crazy being there while it's happening, like exactly. On the side.
So you're working and they're filming, and then all of a sudden it's like but she just threw her through a case that I actually need to get. So how does this work? Like, do I not say, excuse me, can I go get the case because the guy just asked for it? Or do I say, hey, sir, they're fighting on the case. I think I should, like kind of take a break and maybe wait. Like, how does this work out? So doing a WWE show is so much fun. Just to see the system that they build is, how can I put it? The system that they build is multi-purpose. I think that's like the best way of trying to say it. What you see isn't just for SmackDown. Like, it's the same crew and most of the gear is the same. They just change out key pieces to make it work for that show. So the way that they have it set up, which is phenomenal, is the cables are basically color coordinated as this is what we do for SmackDown. This is what we do for Raw. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So you basically are pulling off two productions in one, but at the same time, you're doing two separate filmings, two separate locations, but the gear isn't basically changing. So your crew is like, yo, we know our gear because we use it every day. It's just that we're using it in a different form depending on the actual show. And I was like, oh, this is amazing. So that WWE experience for me was phenomenal.
That's so cool. And so then you saw how they worked with a system. Did that influence at all how you developed a system? Because I also saw in another post that you put that organization is key.
Yes.
And that you need to find a system and then you need to rock with it.
Yes.
So did that influence that?
Yes. When I saw the organization that has to be done, it clicked. Like something just clicked for me because they're so organized that it has to go back the same exact way, laid out the same exact way, or else somebody walking in is going to be, oh, okay, let me take it, do this, that, and a third. And it's like, but that was for our other show. If we organize it correctly, you're going to know I have to do it this way for this show. So even when it comes down to me laying out stuff for my art, it's just like I do it so systematically that when they walk up, they don't think. They don't have to think about anything. So I'm pretty sure the post that you're referring to was that with my RF was laid out and I had my mics in my ears. So basically, when my artists walk out, they never have to think where my mic is, where my pack is, where my ears are. Everything is systematically laid out in the same order every night, no changes, because I want them, in case anything ever happens, and whenever they walk back there to either pick up something or take something down, if I'm not there, they know exactly where it goes. They know exactly which one is theirs. Everything is labeled out. And they know, oh, okay, I'm always in this first slot. I'm always in this third slot, or I'm always in the sixth slot. Like everything will stay the same every show so that they can get comfortable with the system that I created, because I create the system based off of them. So I want everyone to be comfortable on the same level, and consistency is key. I don't know how many times I can say it, but it is so key. It is so important.
Yeah, I mean, it's nice for them to know exactly what to expect.
Yes.
And everything. So it's funny because you seem like you really appreciate systems and like having things in order and plans. Like, do you write a lot of lists?
Yes.
No.
I have.
Yes.
I have like to-do lists planned out, and I don't like finishing my day until like I've done everything on my to-do list for that day, so I kind of schedule it all out, but I do plan. I like to do execution lists, so like I need to execute this by the end of the day, or I need to execute this by the end of the week, so I'll give myself leeway. Like you got 2 or 3 days to execute it, but figure it out and get it done. So I kind of, make a list. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but you give yourself a little bit of grace so that you can figure it out.
Depending on what it is, yes.
And so that leads into another thing I noticed, that on your off days, I see that you do fun things like play with kangaroos and emus and go bungee jumping. So it's like, how do you go from, and I think it's maybe has to do with that little bit of grace that you give yourself to get things done, where you're able to fit in some spontaneous stuff. What's your off day like? How do you fit spontaneity into things?
It's a mixture of it's a mixture of being spontaneous and also being intentional, because those are all team building moments. If you ever notice, none of those events are done just me. Zip lining or jumping off of a tower in New Zealand to going to visit kangaroos and koalas. Everything is with my team. Whatever team I'm with, I'm like, yo, let's go enjoy this country together, like this city. So I try and make it, whereas the chemistry off stage and on stage is still consistent, So like, I don't want us to have chemistry off stage, and then once we finish the show, it's like awkward, like, hey, hi, hey. It's like, no, like, let's go have fun. Let's go out to eat. Let's go hold a koala bear. Like just something that we can build chemistry off stage that makes on stage even better and even tighter. So it's always a matter of, I love to have fun, and I also want to build chemistry within my actual team.
I think that's really important, because you really do build a family. You have a tour family,
Yes.
right? And in order to build that relationship, you have to actually spend some free time together. Does that naturally happen? Like where somebody kind of just comes out of the group and just, gets that done? Or have you been in situations where like nobody was really trying to connect, and then you're like, fuck it, I'm just going to do it?
I've never been in a situation where no one was down to like do it. I've always been like, I guess, a initiator, and I'm like, hey, let's go do something. What do y'all want to do? Let's figure it out. But I'm always one of those like, hey, I want to go do something. You can figure out what it is, but I just want to plant the seed of, I want to get off this bus and go do something fun today. So if you want to go to the movies, if y'all want to go laser tagging, if y'all want to go to the park, it doesn't matter. Whatever you feel comfortable with, just know that 90% of the time I'm down, So I'm always kind of starting it. I'm kind of like stirring that pot, like, hey guys, we got an off day in 3 days. Like, what do you guys want to do? Like, let me know.
I love that. Just like planting the seeds here and there.
Exactly.
So they're not surprised at the end. They thought it was their idea, right? Oh man, yeah. And I noticed that you capture a lot of footage.
Yes.
And I know that people that I've talked to, they'll tell me that, they're traveling all over the place. They're losing track of time because you're basically time traveling. And then it's hard to, you'll remember bigger things and stuff, but it's hard to place them. So do you think actually, making it a point of actually like recording every once in a while, or like taking a couple of pictures here or there, just so that you do capture those experiences, and then you can look back when you're stuck at home in Philly on lockdown?
Yeah.
Do you think, what does that do for you?
It's amazing. And I feel as though for me, it's a necessity to capture moments. And I love to look back and be like, wow, that was amazing. I want to do this again, but better. So let me see, what did I do that I can do better? So capturing moments, not only for study purposes on how to improve, but also on a memorable moment and a shareable moment. Cause it's a lot of people who want to do this who don't have the insight. So it's like, if I can share a moment with somebody who's an inspiring engineer or an inspiring technician, that I can say, hey, this is what it likes to feel here, or this is what the experience is like on this stage, so I can share that moment for somebody else. But I find as though I actually need to capture more, so as much as you see, I need to double that, because I know that there's people out here that's like, they want to see those moments, or they have questions about, hey, what is it like to do this festival, or what is it like to travel in this place? And I just want to be able to share that information with them. I want to be able to share it one day with my future kids. I just want to be able to just share it with the world. Honestly, anybody, if anybody has questions, I'm an open book. Like, come on, but to capture that moment for me is important. It's important. It's important.
And I feel like I've also heard people tell me that they there will be people in the industry that get jaded. Does that keep you from being jaded?
I don't think I get jaded. I honestly don't.
No.
I don't know.
So
Like,
maybe.
I just don't. It's just,
Yeah.
yeah, no, yeah. I just love it. I just absolutely love it. And it just brings me joy. So,
Yeah, I think when you can share those experiences, like it really does bring to perspective, the privileges that you have to actually have those experiences.
Yeah.
Because, other people are telling you, they're actually giving you that feedback. And so you can't forget because, you can't selfishly forget about all the awesome experiences that you're able to have.
Yes, I agree. So it's one of those things where I know from here on out, I'm recording twice as much, like I need bigger SIM cards for my GoPro. Like I need to figure it out.
I love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man. So let's see. There was another IGTV video and we're going to take it to a little bit more of a, it's Mental Health Awareness Week, right?
Mm-hmm.
What's today? Today is the 18th.
Yes.
This probably will air in June.
Okay.
But I do want to talk about that too. And I think, the fact that you're able to share all of these experiences, really opens up a conversation, starting with the good stuff and everything. But it's also really important to talk about the negative things that can come from having the type of lifestyle that you have.
Yes.
So is there anything you want to speak on when it comes to that?
So important. It's so important that mental health, personal health, physical health, they play a big role. And if you don't learn how to balance it, it's going to come back and get you really bad. So one thing I always find is that having a community and having a circle of people, whether they're on that run with you or back at home, you can contact them, you can hit them up and you can just talk and that they can listen. And then at moments you can call and you just listen, so that you can get what's off of your chest and then they can pour into you what you need to hear for that season. But I keep a close circle with me when it comes down to like my actual mental health. I'm always talking to my best friend back at home. I'll call him on like a daily basis. Like, yo, I'm out here and so I had a crazy show last night, and just whatever's mentally on my mind, I let it out, because he's been in that situation before. He understands. So I'm able to not hold on and bottle that stuff in, but I'm able to release it and let it out so that mental health isn't going to come back and keep hurting me. And it's going to keep throwing jabs at me when like I'm in my bunk by myself, when it's like, when like we're on a 12-hour drive through the desert and everybody else is asleep and you have nobody to talk to, so it's like having somebody, whether on that run with you or back at home, is very healthy. It's very healthy that you can be able to communicate when you need to and when you want to, and one thing, not only at home, but I try and find somebody on the road that's in a similar situation as me, whether they think the same as me or their family background is the same as mine, but even somebody that I can connect to where like, if they're going through something, I'm like, yo, after the show, let's just go grab something to eat real quick. Or forget after show food. Let's just, go somewhere where it's just privacy and like, you can just freely talk. Cause a lot of times some people can't freely talk on tour depending on, some type of situations, but I'm like more so, I'm here in case somebody need to talk. And then I have my people that I can turn to where I'm like, hey, yo, it was a long week, man. Like we did 7 shows in 7 days type of week. It was just one of those, so I definitely pay attention to mental health, physical health, working out, finding ways to just stay active and just take a jog around a block, take a jog around the venue, then go take a shower, like just staying busy. Prime example, security guards for me are like my personal workout trainers. So every tour I've been on, I've had security guards be like, cool, we're going to go work out. I'm like, bet, let's go. So that's my physical.
Whoa, hold on. So that's the tip?
Yes.
So security guards,
they work out all the time.
Are the person to go to.
They are ready to throw somebody off that stage. So best believe they're staying fit and bench pressing 42 people to get ready to throw you off a stage. So my last security guards, they've been like our workout coaches. And that's one of the things where we'll go in a gym on an off day. If we have a hotel, or depending on the run, if we're going to be on long enough, they'll bring the gym equipment and we'll set it up in like a room in like the arena somewhere and we'll just go. Or they'll have a gym at the arena. That's been even better for us sometimes. Like they'll have a workout room.
They tell you all the secrets. They're
exactly.
Like,
so mental health and physical health, you definitely have to be aware of it and not afraid to be open about it as well. Because a lot of people will be very reluctant to share a story, or they'll want to keep it bottled in. And I'm one of those like, hey, yo, just talk, like I'm all ears. I get paid to listen. So come on, man.
Were you always like that though?
I believe I was. I got better at it, but I believe I always had a sense of I'm going to share my heart and my feelings. But I think over time, within like these last like two years, I want to say it's become so transparent and easy for me that it just feels normal. It's just natural. Like just to have a intellectual conversation is just natural. Like I'm just like, come on. Like I love those conversations. Like,
what happened? What took you there?
Learning about myself and someone showing me what I do right and what I do wrong. And I was like, wow, I made you feel that way. I can't do that again. Like, I can't do that again. Like, I have to learn how to do this better.
Was that like in a personal relationship or like a professional relationship?
Personal. But that helped me personal and professionally. So I could have a sit down with an artist and just be 100 with them and not even be like, hey, yo, you're like this famous artist. Like, I don't care. Like, let's talk like brother to brother. Like, what's going on, yo? And I'm able to now do that comfortably because of my personal relationship in the past that's borderline geared me and taught me, and molded me into this comfortable conversational engineer.
So take me to your mental state prior to having that, that conversation where you actually had a realization that like, well, something's got to change.
I always found the best in things. And with that, I didn't learn how to isolate issues and find out the root of an issue. I would be like, hey, this is the issue, but we can fix it. Let's just do this, that, and a third. And I would neglect the actual root of where this all started from, and I wouldn't go deeper into trying to find out, hey, where did it start? Or honestly, where did I first go wrong that created this? So that was the mind state was, oh, everything's fixable. I just got to keep moving on positively instead of stopping where I'm at, assessing the situation, and then say, okay, let's start to dig deeper and find out where did this start? Where is the root and how we can adapt and change what happened and move forward from there.
What you were doing was kind of like you knew that there was something more, but you were kind of avoiding it and then kind of just thinking it would go away if you were just a good person or something, right?
Yes. I thought that good deeds washed away wrongdoings, if that makes sense. It's like, if you keep doing the better things, like everything else that you did is just gonna disappear. Like, I don't know how I thought that, but somehow that got into my brain and I was like, let's go. Like, we got this. And then long story short, you hit that one pivotal moment and you're like, nah, you got to go back now, because you got to go find the root of this. In order to fix this, you got to go back to the actual beginning and uncover things.
And I'm just kind of trying to understand what your experience was. So, and I mean, I can relate. I feel like we all go through these really transformational moments in our lives where we finally start to see from other people's perspective, and we stop being so selfish and, single-minded in the way that we approach things. I imagine that maybe it was some sort of, like a fight or, something happened where like you had to have a conversation, and then did you start asking questions or like how did you go about making that transition from thinking that everything was just going to take care of itself as long as you were positive to knowing that you had to be intentional about fixing things?
I want to say, again, comes back to, I have an amazing best friend, Pudge Tribbett. He likes to get to the bottom of things, and he's going to get to the bottom. So he taught me how to, hey, let's not run away from this. Let's keep talking about this. And you're going to keep talking until we get to the bottom of this. And then when I learned what that did for our friendship, I was like, wow, like I feel as though I kind of now need to go back in that previous, situation and kind of assess that all over again, like assess it from top to bottom, like, okay, where is the root of the issue? Where is the actual problem? Like, where did, I go wrong first, So that all started my entire change of mind state. It was just, again, having a community of people that you can turn to and they can pour knowledge into you and you can forever change your life positively.
Yeah. And just being open, right?
Yes.
Being open to that.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, it's definitely nice to have somebody who, you said your friend,
Yes.
does he work in the music industry?
Oh, yes.
Well, yeah. So it's like almost like a mentor.
Yeah.
Sort of
yes.
situation.
That's my brother, mentor, friend, everything. Like, that's him. Like, he has, he's blessed my life. Like, I can't explain how much, so it's just like, I love that dude, so it's like, if it wasn't for him, I don't really know where I'd be, but I'm happy for him, so.
Yeah. I mean, it seems like when we realize that it's okay to be vulnerable, and it's okay to, to take responsibility for the part that you play in your relationships and in what's happening in your life, because I don't believe that life is happening to you, right? It's happening for you. And there's things that you can do in order to make things what you want them to be. When you have people who allow you to be vulnerable and allow you to open up and allow you to see a different side of yourself and can point out a different side of yourself, I think that's amazing. And that can definitely take you from a place where you feel trapped to a place where you feel like there is opportunity for growth.
Yes, I agree.
Has anyone else played a role like that in your life, or have you had the opportunity to play that role for somebody else?
He's mainly played that role for me. And because of that, I've been able to play that role for, I have cousins, and friends that go through situations where they don't know what's going on. And I'm like, cool, let's start from scratch here. Where did all this start to, go wrong, happen, or where did the feelings, originate? And then we'll just dig deep, and then we'll get to the root. Like, oh, okay, there he is right there. That's the seed. Like, that started this, that, and the third, so I've been blessed to be able to share my experiences and my transparency with other people, and they've been positively affected, and they've been able to change and grow and get better as well, so I've been able to, take what I've learned and help others. And that's amazing for me.
Yeah. I mean, so I don't know if you're aware, but I'm a high school teacher, and I obviously have experience with a lot of teenagers where there's some that, maybe high school isn't like the place for them. So I try to open them up to other opportunities, or I'll see kids who are really good at art.
Yeah.
And then, I'll introduce them to a book, showing them hey, you actually can make a life out of doing what you love. You don't have to take the traditional path. So with people that younger people that do you ever have those conversations with them, seeing as you don't follow a traditional path?
Yes. I am always encouraging to dream and follow those dreams and chase those dreams. I dreamt of this. This isn't a normal situation, I think, for anybody to be touring the world for 95% of the year, is to be traveling, doing shows in front of 30, 40,000 people on a daily basis. This isn't normal, but I dreamt of this moment. And, I dreamt of doing shows with, I'm going to be blatantly honest. I'm a fan of Kid Ink. I dreamt of doing shows and doing, touring with Kid Ink. I ended up doing shows, traveling, and touring with Kid Ink, all because I was a fan of his music. I was like, man, it's going to be amazing. I just dreamed that I could be on the same stage, and it happens, it was a blessing for me. We went to the Middle East and did shows for the troops, that's a blessing. And that all happened because I had a dream and I knew that I could achieve it. So I always tell, other people who are inspiring to do whatever they want to do, dream and go chase it and get it until it is your reality. Anything is possible. Everything is possible. You just have to want it that much. You just got to want it. And if you want it that much, and if you make those right choices, it's going to put you in a nice little seat, and you're going to be driving whatever you want to be driving, whether it's driving your career to stardom, or you're driving a company to top 5 tech companies in the world, or you're driving any type of business or career. You have the option, you have the choice, and you have the resources. You just got to go get them and execute.
Now, devil's advocate. Some of these kids might be like, okay, yeah, sure. You did it. But how did you do it? Because, I can have a dream, but how do I actually get there? So teach us with a story.
Okay. So I grew up in a church that had amazing musicians. And these musicians probably had, I want to say the majority of them was probably a 10-year gap on me. So they were 10 years older than me. So they were already, by the time I was I'm 15 or 25, they already have gigs in the music industry. I don't even know this. I'm 15, I'm just inspiring just to have fun in life at that age. So I go to college. I'm in college. Remember the transitional period from studio to live. Once they see me in church now taking live sound seriously, one good friend of mine, Irvin Washington, he notices and he's like, hey, I noticed that you're taking it seriously, blah, blah, blah. Come to rehearsals. We're having rehearsals for J. Cole's Dollar and the Dream Tour. Just come be a fly on the wall. I said, of course. I'm taking off from school. I'm catching Megabus from Philly to New York. I'm there, first one's there, last one's out. And I wanted to learn, and I wanted to be able to take everything that they're doing, learn it, get the details down, and be able to apply it when my time came. So that was how the door first opened, is when a friend of mine at church told me, hey, you need to, just try live sound. I applied myself and I executed, And I did the very best that I could, not knowing that a friend of mine was going to invite me to one of the biggest artists of our generation's rehearsal. Like, I didn't see that coming,
But you were able to spot an opportunity and
yes.
and take advantage and
Yes.
learn from it and let that be your, like you had your dream and your dream was your guide. And
Yes.
so then because you had this dream, it
Yes.
allowed you, like it almost was able to shine a light on the opportunities.
Yes.
Am I getting that?
Yes. And I took the opportunity, and ever since then, I never turned back. I shadowed those guys. I want to say we were probably in rehearsal like 2 weeks. I was just up there like, I would get there earlier, like, hey, this is a DI. Cool. How many DIs is over here? And I would just start like write down like, okay, he has this kind of DIs. All right, now let me run to like the keyboard rig. What kind of setup? And I was like, oh, okay, cool. Now let me run over. I was in that rehearsal room, just learning as much knowledge as I could. And once rehearsal started, I sat there and I just listened and watched. And I was like, okay, the engineer's making this move. Oh, okay. He's touching this fader. Oh, okay. He's doing this. Oh, okay. He's like listening to it this way. And I was like, okay. And I was learning as much as I could because I don't know the next time I'll be in that room. So I have to take advantage of this situation and make the most of it. And
and you were able to find someone, right? Because
exactly.
It's something that I tell people, and I'm trying to practice it. We'll see where we'll see where it goes. But you find somebody that you feel kind of is doing what you want to do.
Yes.
Right. And then you kind of reverse engineer it and figure out like what steps did they take to get there? And then if you have the opportunity to actually learn firsthand from them.
Yes.
I mean, come on.
Yes. That is knowledge that you cannot learn in school. Is that firsthand knowledge from a mentor that's in the field doing what you inspire to do. I sat behind J. Cole's engineer, Ray Rogers. And from that day, because he did rehearsals, tours after that, I would be there so that I can watch Ray Rogers and dissect what he's doing so I can learn, not to mimic what he does, but to learn the techniques that he's using in this application. So I found somebody who was excelling at what I wanted to do. And, I'm blessed that he was, he allowed me to be there. He allowed me to be a fly on the wall, and I got that chance and I learned as much as I could. I was on stage patching stuff in I wasn't even a stagehand. I was just helping out that production because I knew the crew and I was like, yo, I just want to learn as much as possible. Like put me to work. And I applied myself and here we are.
I love that. Yeah. And because it's easy to tell people, oh, if you dream it, you can do it. But I think it's really important to actually like drive through the fact that you have to put in that effort and you have to be able to spot the opportunity and you have to know what you want.
Yes.
Because if you know what you want, that's the only way to spot it. Otherwise, I mean, it'll just pass you by because opportunities happen, but you might never see them again.
Exactly. I agree. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit more about what you do. What you do on the road to keep you in a positive mood and a good headspace, and then how you transition that to when you come home.
So for me, when I'm on the road, I'm always, this is road and home, but daily devotions. So I'm always staying up on that. And then when I'm on the road, I am making myself social. So I'm not being like a to myself person. I'm always being able to communicate with others. And then when I come home, it's like I'm able to communicate with my family and share stories and share experiences. And then they'll teach me stuff. I'll teach them stuff about, hey, I learned this from this person in this country when they were doing this. So being able to be transparent from when I'm on the road learning stuff and when I'm home learning stuff. And then when I'm home, I'm able to teach others when I'm on the road, like, hey, I saw somebody do this when I was at home, not to tell them like it's my cousin, but I was like, I saw somebody do this. Like, have you ever tried doing it this way? And then they'll be like, oh, I never thought about that. That's crazy. So just being kind of like transparent with it.
That's funny. It gives you a little bit of a separation where you feel like, oh, I learned it from a stranger.
But yeah, but it's like, it's my cousin Kevin. Yeah.
Well, that's so nice to be able to have a connection with people who you can share your experiences with. So what are some things that you've taken away from, I know you told me that you love being in contact with different cultures and different people and hearing different languages and accents and the whole thing. So what are some of the things that stand out when you're able to experience these things?
One thing for me is a lot of people say I'm a picky eater. I would say I am very unique and selective. So even going to like new cultures and experiencing new cultures and like their food, it's like, okay, this is different for me. This is very different for me. And I'm reluctant to like try it at first, but if you give me like some time and like you kind of like be patient with me, like I'll kind of try something new, and we'll kind of see how that goes. Sometimes I'll try something new. Sometimes.
And so that's funny because I'm definitely a pusher when it comes to trying stuff.
Man. Us two on tour.
There's a fine line though, right?
Boy, oh boy.
There's a fine line. I know. Oh my God, my boyfriend, like, I don't know what I was trying to get him to. Oh, I think just like kombucha or something. I was like, just try it. He's like, no, kombucha.
Yeah, I don't know about that one.
I mean, it's like, I think it's good, but I'm like, just try it because like, I don't understand how somebody can't just try it. Like, what's the worst that could happen?
Comfort level, being comfortable, being, what time of the day is it? Are we about to go on stage? Did we just get off a stage?
I mean, one thing that he definitely told me is like, the more that you try to push it on me, the less I'm going to want to do it.
That's very true. That's very true. I'll share this experience with you. I was out with my brothers, Brockhampton. We just did, Australia, New Zealand run for FOMO Fest. And we were in Perth, Australia, and there was a fruit tray. So we're in the room. There's a fruit tray. There's like, oh, okay, Jair, just come try an orange. And I was like, wait, what? And I was like, you want me to like try an orange like now? So half the room knew and half the room did not know of my selective eating. So they was like, wait, why would Jair try an orange? It's just an orange. And at that moment, my crew knew, it was like, oh, okay, this is going to be a whole situation. So I didn't try my first orange until January 2020.
Wait, like a regular, like a navel orange from Florida?
It was an orange,
but like a regular orange, like you never had an orange.
It was orange, yeah. It was an orange.
Like a regular orange?
I mean, to me, it was regular. I don't know if it came from Florida, but I tried.
But I just mean like you hadn't had like an orange, like the classic orange that we all think of.
Yeah, there's no.
Prior to this. Oh, wow.
Yes, So it's like, but they brought in all the artists, all the crew, like everybody's like in the room, like, what is wrong with him? He works for us and he doesn't even eat oranges. And I was like, okay, so this is like a deciding factor on who makes the team or not is on oranges, and I tried the orange and they were like mind blown. They just stared and Brockhampton, it's 13 total in the group, but we had 6 or 7 of them out there with us. And they're just all standing in a line, like just staring like, okay, maybe he's not normal, but that's a great thing, but it's like, this guy is unique, so it was just,
wow.
It was an interesting moment for me, but yes, I tried an orange in January 2020.
For the first time.
For the first time.
In Australia.
In Australia. In Perth, Australia.
Oh, I love
Cross that off
so
my
much.
bucket list.
So now, every time somebody tries a new food,
Mm-hmm.
have you ever seen that movie Ratatouille?
Yeah.
Pixar movie? Okay, you know how like when he makes stuff, there's like an explosion of flavor.
I don't know if it's always an explosion.
What? But like, if you had to visualize, and you can take a minute to think about this, if you had to visualize the taste of an orange for the first time as an adult in 2020, how would you describe it?
Okay. Not that many fireworks. I can't say it was a firework, but it was more so like, I didn't feel fireworks. What I felt like, it was like a table, it was like a round table of people, and they were just standing there in front of me, just clapping like, good job, son. Good job.
So you're
son.
like, I mean, it doesn't really taste like much because it's not even ripe.
Well, I don't know what ripe and unripe oranges taste like. I've only kind of had one, but it wasn't like an explosion of thoughts and emotions and feelings. It was more so like, this is what the hype was about.
Well, yeah, they hyped it up, and then it was it's kind of a letdown. Yeah,
hyped it up like, and it was just like, you did it.
Wah, wah.
I was like, man, I could have put my energy somewhere else. But yeah, that was it.
Well, it's a story, right?
It's a story.
Oh, I love that so much.
Mm-hmm.
Well, okay, I have one question for you because we're almost out of time.
Okay.
So you like to share, and I love it so much.
Yes.
So what's one question that you get from people about your job or about what you do when you're on the road that you get that you want to share with us? That you get from regular people?
One question I get. Only one. Let me see. The question I get the most is, what is it like touring and traveling with these artists? Because a lot of people, and I mean, of course, this is like 50-50, but some artists travel privately and then some artists travel with their crew. So 95% of my touring has been with like my artists and the crew are together. We're traveling together, same buses, same flight. Like we might be a couple seats apart. Like everything's been close. So a lot of people ask me, hey, what's it like? And I've been blessed to have amazing artists, so all the artists that I've toured and worked with are genuinely just great people. Like they're just great humans first, like they're just great people. They have great hearts, great spirits, and then they translate to being a great artist. But that's one of the questions I always get is, what's it like traveling with him? Or what's it like traveling with this group? Or what was it like traveling in like this country with this person? I was like, it was great. Honestly, it was honestly a blessing. It was amazing. They're just a great person. A lot of our artists are humble, so the same way that I'm taking this experience, they're taking it as well. Like, man, this is amazing, so I've been blessed.
Yeah. The fact that, everyone in the industry, like you're people first.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. And people forget that.
Yeah.
As randomly and weird as that is, people forget that we're all humans first. We're all normal humans. We all came from our mothers. Like, that's it. Like, we're all humans. And then on top of that, we have a talent, like it's just that their talent has taken them to another level. Your talent can too, if you apply yourself and if you wanted to, but we're all humans with talents. It's just that some people's talent is on the stage and then some people's talent is behind the stage. And then some people's talent is cheering them on, we all have talent.
Yeah, I think that's definitely a good takeaway as far as, how we can look at the people who are in the industry, especially in a time right now, which is so much uncertainty, really realizing that everybody who is not putting on shows right now, everybody who's not able to just, do their normal life, everybody who who generally is, entertaining the masses.
Mm-hmm.
Like you're people too.
Yes.
And you're going through the same things that everybody else is going through right now.
Yes.
And it's important to really, reach out and to each other and really just make that human connection, because we need it more now than I think we've ever had.
I agree. Mm-hmm. We need love. We need love. Like, I don't care who you are. Like, send love, receive love, give love. Like, we all need love, because this can be a very hard time for people. And I'm blessed to say I have a community of people who I can turn to. They can turn to me. But I know there's people I've toured with where it's just them, so they don't have family left anymore, or they kind of isolate themselves so that once they're off the road, it's like they kind of chill by themselves for 2 weeks and then the next run starts. So now it's like when you take away touring, it's like, hey, I know that person is home without a support system, so just being able to just put in a day on my calendar and just say, hey, let me just reach out to this person, and this person. Cause I know that over conversations touring, they said that they don't really have family and that their touring family is their family. So that means it's not obligation, but due diligence. Like, I think I need to reach out and check up on them, so I just make sure that I send love, cause people need it.
That's so important. Thank you so much.
Of course.
For joining me today. This was such a great conversation. And I look forward to future conversations.
I'm down. Tell me when.
All right. Have a good day. See ya.
Likewise.
Bye. Here are some key takeaways from my conversation with Jair Crews. 1. Capturing and sharing your experiences, whether it's on social media, on film, or in photos, is one of the best things you can do to maintain a good perspective of where you've been in life and in your career. Enjoy and appreciate your accomplishments, and don't forget to step back and reminisce. You can also inspire others when you share. 2. If you're trying to stay fit on tour, look to the security guards to help you find a gym or to help you figure out how to get a workout in at the venue. They seem to know where all the secret spots are. 3. Taking care of your mental health by having a community or a tour buddy who you can talk to is incredibly important. It's easy to feel isolated, but your people will keep you grounded. And when you're home, check up on others who may also be feeling lonely. 4. Be intentional about working on yourself and your conflicts. Talk it out until you get to the bottom of it. Don't sweep it under the rug. It's absolutely not worth it. And it will truly change your life when you learn how to deal with things by talking them out. And 5, let yourself dream and chase that dream until it becomes your reality. If you love the tour life, check out the Setup podcast hosted by my friend Cindy Oberholzer, where she interviews some of the most creative minds in the music industry, turning their experiences working behind the scenes into actionable advice you can use in your life, no matter your background. Thank you so much for joining us on The Tour Life. Please remember to rate and review the show on Apple and Spotify to help us elevate these important conversations. Join our community and get access to exclusive behind-the-scenes content. And you'll also be the first to hear about upcoming events and giveaways by connecting with us on socials at The Tour Life Podcast and at Q101 Chicago.
Are you tired of losing your fantasy football league year after year? Lindsay Rhodes, Emmy-winning sportscaster and football analyst, is your new secret weapon on the Believe Fantasy Football Show.
Watch the quarterbacks and his ADP. I think he has massive high-end upside.
Get expert analysis on player rankings.
Wide receiver 22 in fantasy, Cecil Shorts.
That kid can run, so I'm thinking he can have a breakout season this year.
And you can too by searching the Believe Fantasy Football Show. That's BLEAV wherever you listen.